Hi everyone, it's Mary from Manchester Mangoes and welcome to another video. So today's video is going to be a very highly requested video by you guys on how I got my period back and my period story and how I healed polycystic ovarian syndrome. Sorry it's taken me so long to make this video. I know it's been really highly requested over the last year or so, but I really just wanted to wait until I really had my period back regularly until I could tell you guys what worked for me, because otherwise I'd be lying. And yeah, I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not a doctor. Don't take this as advice or that you should go and do this, but this is simply just some information and you can take it whether you want to, but do not reject the help or the advice of a medical professional such as your doctor or anything. Yeah, sure, you can incorporate some of this information into your treatment by your doctor, but yeah, I'm not a medical professional even though I'm a registered nurse. I am not someone to replace your doctor. So if that makes sense, I just wanted to put that disclaimer in there. I don't want to give you guys like advice, I just want to give you guys information on what worked for me and what worked for my body on how I got my period back. Sorry if I'm like fiddling around a lot. It's really super hot in here, like it's hotter than my bedroom, so yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys I might have to turn the aircon on soon. So yeah, so polycystic ovarian syndrome, a lot of people are probably wondering what that is. It's actually a very common hormonal syndrome amongst women. It affects about 10% of the population actually. It's really quite common. I'm going to put the real true definition here because it is really a complex thing and I think it's really important to actually read about it and learn for yourself to understand what polycystic ovarian syndrome is. And there are different types of polycystic ovarian syndrome. So before we go on with this, I have a particular diagnosis. It is type 2 polycystic ovarian syndrome, which means that I am not insulin resistant. I've never heard of that before, but when she diagnosed me, that's what she said. And yeah, so I've written down everything here about my story because I don't want to miss any important parts, because yeah, I think it's really important that you guys get a whole like history of my experience with periods and how it came to be diagnosed with this syndrome. I'm not playing victim here because there is a lot of misconception about polycystic ovarian syndrome. Some people are misdiagnosed a lot. I still don't believe that I've been misdiagnosed because I had a very good relationship with my doctor. I actually worked with her. I was the practice nurse in her clinic and she's a very well-renowned women's health doctor and I trust her because I don't think that she would misdiagnose me at all. So just want to put that out there that yeah, a lot of people can be misdiagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome with similar kind of issues. Some people may actually have it and some people may not. So yeah, just putting that out there as well. So I'm just going to start with my basic outline story of how I started the pill. So I was about 14 and I'd had my period maybe 3 or 4 times and I had just been breaking out with like severe acne. I had really oily skin, I had white hairs, black hairs, big blind pimples all the time, just underneath my skin around here and especially on top of my forehead, and I was so embarrassed in year 7 and year 8. I used to wear makeup already and a lot of girls weren't even wearing that because I was just so embarrassed. So I spoke to my parents and they decided to put me on the pill because that was like the best option at the time, obviously. That's all the doctors want to really put you on. Yeah, thanks mum and dad. I was on the pill since I was 14, so that was fine. Sometimes I do the occasional skip period there, skip period here and there because I played a lot of sport. When I was 18, I developed anorexia and I actually didn't get my period for about 8 months. Yeah, about 8 months. I still stayed on the pill and everything, but I just didn't get my period because I was obviously malnourished and everything. Yeah, so that was no issue there. That was just, you know, once-off thing. It came back to normal once I got better, once I gained a little bit of weight and everything. Then it was my second year of uni. I just moved out of my parents' place and I moved to a completely different town and I was around a lot of uni girls, you know, getting into the real clean eating phases and fitness kind of scene, and they were all really, yeah, heavily dieting, and I thought, wow, the pill must be making me fat. Yeah, I'm a uni student, I don't want to pay $80 a month to be on the pill, so why should I be on it? And yeah, I just wanted to really cleanse my body and be clean, you know, clean eating. So I went off the pill and for 4 months I didn't get my period. My acne got really bad again, like really oily. I remember getting ready to go out with the girls and literally I'd put makeup on and 5 minutes later my skin would be just oil. It would just look so shiny and I'd have all these bumps everywhere and I was really embarrassed. Like I was embarrassed. That was pretty much it. And I had gained weight from being off the pill. I felt disgusting. I was always constantly bloated. I decided to go back to the doctor, mainly because of my skin. It wasn't about my period, because at the time I just didn't care. I thought I didn't care that I didn't get my period. So I went back to the doctor and they said, okay, go back on the pill. And of course, I went back on the pill. And my boyfriend was leaving to go overseas. And so I was devastated, and you know, I was like, well, there's no point of me being on the pill because I don't want to ever be with another man except this person. And yeah, I just wanted to get really healthy and really fit and just clean my body again, because clean eating was still a massive thing at this stage, especially like at the Ashy Binds movement and everything. So I decided to go off the pill and I started gaining weight. I noticed that I gained a couple of kilos. I was holding a lot of water around my stomach and around my thighs. I was getting acne in places that I'd never had acne before, like all over my back. I was getting a lot of hair like on my cheek. And I remember I was getting my eyebrows threaded. I used to get my cheek and my sideburns like threaded because I was growing hair here. I was also growing hair like at the back of my hands. And yeah, I was just feeling really just weird. I just didn't feel myself. But the main issue obviously was the weight gain. I just didn't want to gain weight and I didn't want my skin to look bad again. It was about 4 months later. I think I had one period. It was one period and it was really awful. It was really painful. Yeah, I just thought, I can't do this. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't want to have really painful periods. I don't want to have all this extra acne. Like, why am I growing hair on my face? I mean, I'm half Asian, so I'm pretty lucky that I don't have much hair on my body. But no, it was hormonal. I was growing hair on my face. Like, that was scary. And my skin was getting really ugly and I just felt ugly. I decided to go and see a doctor about this. I even have my test results that I got my mum to send me over. That's how serious I am about this video and how much I've been wanting to do it for ages. I actually had my testosterone levels checked on the 23rd of the 4th. So actually it was April, not May, sorry. Because I had told the doctor this and yeah, she said, all right then, we can check your hormones and then send you off for an ultrasound as well, just make sure everything's okay down there, because she had suspected polycystic ovarian syndrome. So as you can see here, my testosterone levels are high at 2.9 and they should be under 1.7. So that is extremely high, especially for hormones. Like hormones, even the slightest bit out, your whole body is out of homeostasis. Like I also have really high androstenedione. So all women have testosterone in their bodies. Obviously the slight increase in women's testosterone can suppress normal menstrual and ovulation. So that was obviously a part of what was affecting me not getting my period, as well as their androstenedione. Now I had no idea what this was, but look how high that is. It's 19 and the normal range is 11. So it's nearly double over what is supposed to be the normal one. And the andro is a hormone that is produced by the ovaries and adrenal glands. Sometimes high levels in the hormone can affect estrogen and testosterone levels. I did do another hormone test, but my mum couldn't find it in my files. So I feel like I never got it printed off by the doctor and it's still at the clinic. So I'm really sorry about that. She couldn't get my ultrasound results either, but yeah, she did pretty well for finding that and sending it over. Thanks, Mum. So I ended up getting an internal ultrasound and they checked my ovaries that way and they found lots of cysts on both of my ovaries. So in conclusion, my doctor put all this together and said, okay, with your symptoms, your excess hair, your backne, your face acne, your amenorrhea, irregular periods, painful periods, cysts on your ovaries, high levels of testosterone. She made the conclusion that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome. So this is a month. I didn't even know what she was diagnosing me with when I got these tests done. She just said, do all this. So within the month, when I got the 2 tests done, I've had the ultrasound and everything, and she made the conclusion because she thought that maybe in a month's time my testosterone would go down. Maybe it was just like a one-off thing. Yeah, so I was mortified when she told me what it was and that I was gonna have difficulty, you know, getting pregnant, that I would have fertility issues, that I will always have bad skin and everything. And I was just mortified because she said the only thing to fix this is if I take the pill. And I didn't want to go on the pill again because I just wanted my body to be clean. You know, I wanted to be a mother in the future. Heaps of stuff was coming out in the news that the pill was giving people blood clots and heart attacks and everything, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. And the pill that I was on was $80 a month, and I just didn't want to waste my money on that again. I ended up even calling my best friend Catherine at the time, hi Cac if you're watching this, and bawling my eyes out to her saying, I can't get pregnant, I've got this disease, like what's wrong with me? I even called my dad apologizing to him that I might not be able to even give him freaking grandchildren. That's how mortified I was being diagnosed with this. Like, it was heartbreaking to me because all I ever wanted to be in my life was a mother. I decided that enough is enough and that I needed to find a natural cure because I did not want to go on the pill again. So I did lots and lots of research, and I even saw a naturopath for a couple of months, and he gave me some like fake pills such as estrogen, like natural estrogen hormones, and also told me to take maca powder, and they did really help. I was still excessively exercising, and I still had a lot of stress issues in my life because at the time I had bulimia, and I had bulimia for a year during this time still. So a lot of stress on my plate, still obsessed with exercise, binge eating, not eating that healthy at times. Like obviously compared to now, I was still eating a lot of meat and dairy, even though I was taking these natural hormones. Anyways, it got to January 2014, and it was after I saw my naturopath, and I wasn't getting any better because of my diet, obviously, because that's what I just put it down to. So he just said maybe to just going back on the pill just for a little bit until my body adjusted or something. So I decided to go back on it for another 4 or so months, got my period back again, and then I said enough is enough again. So I went off the pill in January and thought that was my New Year's resolution, was to be completely healthy this year, try and get over my eating disorder, try and, you know, get fit and healthy, and yeah. And I decided that I was going to move overseas in June 2014, so I wanted to look my best. So I actually got a personal trainer, and yeah, I started doing some weights and I really enjoyed it. I got into yoga, and I just tried to do a lot of things to help me get over my eating disorder and things like that. And I was having a lot of troubles with a boyfriend at the time. And yeah, so I just wanted to decrease all of my stress. It wasn't until April 2014 where I was pretty much at my breaking point, and I decided to go vegan, and that was like the best thing that ever happened to me. Yeah, from January to April, I got my period, maybe just a couple of times, really bad, really heavily, really painful, and yeah, my skin was really awful still. And yeah, so I became vegan, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. I decided to do Raw till 4. I was still staying the same weight. And then I decided to, I was going overseas in June. I was just going overseas to have a good time, meet people, live in a new country and everything, if that makes sense. Like, I just had no worries in the world. I wanted to be free and not worry about anything. So the whole time I was overseas, I was still vegan. I didn't eat any animal products. I vowed to God that I would stay vegan because I knew that if I wasn't going to stay vegan, that I would never have a clean conscience again, and that I would fall back into my bad eating habits. And I didn't want to live a life like that. So I'd made that decision, and I'm really proud of myself for being really strong. And I actually started my YouTube channel at that time when I was traveling, but I was having too much fun, so I stopped it for a little while until I got back home. Yeah, so I went overseas, and when I was overseas, I literally just dropped all of my worries. I even mentioned in one of the videos that I wasn't being Raw till 4 because I was struggling a lot trying to find fresh fruit and stuff, so I was pretty much just a regular vegan. And then I came back from overseas, and yeah, I had not a worry in the world. I was back with Bo, and I was just really happy. I decided I was going to start getting back into yoga. I wanted to get back into, exercising. My skin was still a little bit bad, but I noticed that my back knee was disappearing, the hair on the side of my face was disappearing, as well as the back of my hands. And I was feeling more like myself. Whilst I was overseas, I did get my period just the once because I was only gone for 3.5 months. I got it once and it was fine. I decided to do all these things. I had no stresses, and in October I started, recording my period. And I actually have my period tracker here. I've had it for ages. It's this app called P.D, and I thought I would track it because I wanted to make sure. So I started tracking the 30th of September. So it was actually 30th of September, sorry, just before I came back from overseas. It was the first time I had my period. It says 30th of September 2014 to the 4th of October. And then you can see through here it went 28, 24, 27, 32, 29, 30, 30, 31, 30, 36, and then we get to the 23rd of June to the 27th of June. Yeah, and then we get to July. So it's the 29th of July to the 5th of August was a 49-day cycle. And I want to talk more about that. So when I came home from overseas, I thought I don't really want to get into heavy exercising because I did know that stresses your hormones, and I wanted to completely just distress my whole body. So I got back into yoga and walking, and as you can see in my last vlogs from that time, I was walking every single day for half an hour. I was still raw to 4. Yeah, so it was about December and I decided that I wanted to change. So yeah, it was December, January that I was going to try the starch solution. So I started incorporating more cooked foods at lunchtime. I thought it would be a lot easier for me during the days to have cooked food at work. It was just, yeah, more convenient for me. And yeah, it really helped clear up my skin as well. I found that the starch solution really helped eating more cooked food and not exercising a lot. I was only doing body weight exercises as well. I was doing the BBG, the Kayla Itstein's thing, maybe a couple of times a week, and I was jogging maybe once a week when I could be bothered. But it was really just walking and de-stressing myself. I really was upset with myself that I wasn't becoming the fittest or leanest that I wanted to be. I really wanted to lose weight. I had, you know, gained 10 kilos over a long period of time, and I just wasn't happy, and for some reason my weight just wasn't shifting. Everything else seemed to be getting better. I had my period and everything, and I think that was the important thing, that I needed to gain the weight. I needed to keep it in order for my hormones to balance, and I needed to, you know, just to de-stress my body. I then went to Thailand for the Raw to 4 Thai Fruit Festival last year, and I lived here for 3 months. And the reason why you can see in my period tracker that I didn't get my period for 49 days was because I had a lot of stress while I was here last year. It was awful. It was just a whole array of things. I started pushing my body too much. I was exercising too soon, really heavily, absolutely pushing myself, causing a lot of stress. I was getting involved in a lot of drama, which I shouldn't have been. So that's what really affected me. And I could tell, I was like, my body had been normal for the last 6 months after years and years of having a messed up period. And I'm not gonna just ruin it now just because I'm surrounded by people who do things that I don't think I'm ready for. Anyways, I then started traveling again. And as you can see, my period has gone back to normal. 32, 28, 27, 28, 30, 26, and I currently have my period now. But yeah, as you can see, a regular period now since September 2014, just by de-stressing my body and being happy. I do have a lot of other tips to share with you guys on what really helped me heal my PCOS and get my period back. Was not only was I de-stressing a lot of parts of my body, I was practicing self-love daily. I was, you know, I was sick of feeling, you know, sorry for myself, and that I thought, you're not good enough because you're overweight, or you're not good enough because you put on 10 kilos and you look disgusting. I just thought that's not the mindset that I wanted, and that's not the mindset that I have. So I started just doing that daily. Literally just going to the mirror and saying, I love you. I do every line, every scar, every curve. You're beautiful, Mary, and thank you for keeping me alive today. And that's literally what helped. Also, I think just walking is so good for you. It is the least stressful exercise on your body. You know, if you can't walk, just walk for 5 minutes, then 10, and then build up as you go along. You don't have to walk an hour a day in the beginning. You can build up to it. But in saying that, you can't just walk and then sit on the couch all day because you've just been out for a walk. Be active. You know, I kept active because of my job. I was a nurse, so I was always moving around on my feet. So find a hobby, whether it be volunteering, or whether it is at your job that you are constantly moving around. Or yeah, just keep yourself occupied. You know, start scrapbooking or taking photos or making things. Just have a hobby for yourself that you enjoy. I also think yoga is amazing. It is really calming and is really just a time where where you can be in sync with your body, and where I think it's really important for your body to, balance out again, because you're listening to it, you become one with your breath. It sounds a little bit hippie and spiritual, but it really does help. Yoga really helped me in times of stress. This even happened with me while I was traveling last year after Thailand. I just walked absolutely everywhere and did yoga, and it was the best thing ever. Every now and then I would go for a light jog, maybe once a week, and I would do maybe some push-ups or sit-ups or something really light, and that's not very stressful to your body, because yes, stress raises your cortisone levels and makes your adrenals burn out and everything, and whilst you're balancing your hormones, you don't want to disrupt that harmony between your body, you know, healing and everything. So the least impact sport you can do is walking. Another thing is to lift weights. I think that just before I went overseas to Europe the first time by myself, and where I went off the pill, and I got my period again like a couple of times, and I got a personal trainer and I was doing weights, I think that really helped because I built muscle, and that means my basal metabolic rate actually increased. I was burning more calories. It didn't really help with my weight loss at that time because I was still staying the same. I was just, you know, I just feel like if I didn't do it, it would be worse. So I think body weight exercises or lifting weights really helps metabolism and helps speed it up again. Like I said, when I went off the pill and started seeing a naturopath before I went back on the pill again, and I mentioned that all of this wasn't working because of my diet at the time, I look back now, it definitely was my diet because I was still eating dairy and meat. I was consuming hormones of another animal, and my body had to excrete all those excess hormones, or didn't know what to do, or got confused. So I truly believe that a plant-based diet is the best thing to heal polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I am a huge advocate for that. Vegan all the way, no dairy, no meat, and just whole foods as often as you can. Because let's be realistic, people like to eat bread, people like to eat cereal and some processed foods. It is the 21st century. But if you can keep it, you know, majority whole foods, you're pretty much set. And don't be scared of healthy fats and healthy protein. I think they're so important. I really loved introducing like flax. Flax seeds really helped with my hormone balance, and so did avocados and coconuts, and just having that balance. I remember the doctor telling me that I should go on a low carb diet, and I was just like, okay, and that pretty much probably set me up for disaster. So yeah, have a lifestyle full of abundance, lots of carbs, but definitely plant-based lifestyle helped me. Okay, Mary, I want you to eat oats this morning with some fruit because it makes you feel good. Yes, thank you. Mary, don't go eating 3 pieces of cake because that's not gonna make you feel good. Okay, thanks, body. Maybe eat half an avocado today because you really feel like fats today. Okay. And the next day, Mary, you don't feel like fats today, so maybe just keep it to more carbs and have a little bit of legumes and protein. Seriously, things come naturally to you, and I know it's really hard in the beginning, especially if you come from a past of disordered eating, but it does eventually come if you just listen to your body. And I know it's easier said than done, but trust me guys, it's taken me years to get here. And I'm not saying that it's gonna happen straight away with you, but for me, it's taken years, and this is where I'm at now. And also, reducing your stress is the best thing. Like, don't have a care in the world. Obviously care about things, but because as a vegan, I feel like our consciousness, like my levels of consciousness are a lot higher, so I become a lot more sensitive. So that means a lot of things around me are more stressful to me because I actually kind of know what's going on. Like, I know where that meat has came from, when hanging from a butcher's hook. Like, I know where that ice cream come from that person's eating. Like, I'm sensitive to all of that. So it's really hard, obviously, as a vegan, but if you can just de-stress as much as you can, it's the best thing for you to do. Yeah, and just find hobbies, like I said, and read. I've found that reading really helped me. Listening to music, being around your friends, just really just being you and getting back in touch with you, like your womanhood and being a girl and loving yourself and loving your body and letting your body do its thing, if that makes sense. And another thing I highly suggest is that stop drinking coffee and alcohol. I know that it's hard for some people, but I decided to give up coffee and alcohol, and I did it for 8.5 months. Last year, from December 2014 to last year about October when I was traveling, or August or something. It was about 8 or 9 months that I had not drank alcohol or coffee. I read that like coffee is really bad for your adrenal glands and can burn you out, and it does. It's obviously in excess. I don't think it's a bad thing, but if you're having maybe up to 5 or 7 cups a day, definitely cut it down and definitely cut back on alcohol. I actually don't drink alcohol very often right now. It's very occasional, maybe on like New Year's Eve or on a birthday, but it's very rare. But definitely no binge drinking or anything like that, because alcohol obviously is a poison and definitely can affect your hormones. Also, be sure to check on certain vitamins and minerals in your body. I actually had a vitamin D and calcium deficiency, and I found that that was so important in like your overall health, and they can play a role in your menstruation. If you have PCOS and you have insulin resistance, vitamin D actually plays a role in glucose metabolism, so it's really important to make sure that you're getting a sufficient amount. And also having polycystic ovarian syndrome, you can have problems with your cardiovascular health, as in high cholesterol levels. So also make sure that you have sufficient amount of calcium, as that does play a vital role in cardiovascular health. I did have deficiencies in both of these, so I did have to take supplements for a while, but that's fine because it was during winter in Australia that I had to take these. But that's fine, it's just a tablet, and I started incorporating more foods with calcium, and obviously I started to go out in the sun a little bit more, because it is a lot harder if you have tan skin because we have more melanin, and that means you have natural protectant from the sun. So for me to get the sufficient amount of vitamin D, I've got to be out in the sun for like double the amount of time for someone who has lighter skin than me. So it was a lot harder for me to obtain vitamin D, and it is a common thing in people who have darker skin. And also to be sure that you're having your omega-3s and omega-6s, as they reduce inflammation. Obviously you can get polycystic ovarian syndrome from inflammation in your body as well. That can affect your hormones. And just eat healthy and be healthy and have an overall balance in every aspect of your life. So yeah, I hope that really helped you guys. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. Don't take my word as Bible. This is just my story and what helped me, and it could definitely help you as well. But definitely seek information and guidance by your doctor or medical professional, because yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed that video and finally have an idea of my period story and how I got my period back, and what a whirlwind it's been. Literally trying to think back over your life and every detail is really hard, and trying to remember bits and pieces. Lucky I had a diary to go through, because I mark when I got my period and how I felt most of the time. And yeah, it's a really important idea. That's another thing I recommend, is having a diary and marking in it the days that you get your period and how you feel, and you know, how you felt leading up to it and everything is really good idea. It's just, yeah, and even to show your doctor your period. Or you can always get this app that I have called P.D. It was free, and literally it even tells you like when you're ovulating and when it's okay to have sex. So that's kind of like a contraception form for me, as well as in the fertility awareness method. But that's another video. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please let me know your thoughts and comments, and I'd love to hear your stories on polycystic ovarian syndrome or your period story, because I think together we can help each other and create a community sense that, you know, you're not alone, that this girly stuff happens to everybody and everyone has their own story. So yeah, leave a comment down below, like this video if you liked it, and don't forget to add me on Snapchat, Instagram, and check me out on Patreon. I have a Facebook page as well, and don't forget to check out my website for t-shirts and coaching. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.